including all these NGOs, when we arrived there, they were present. Of course, it's the right thing to do, to talk to people, but they must equally understand what the government is going to do. Because government cannot allow a state of lawlessness. You cannot go to national TV and threaten violence. Who are you? In a democratic state, express your views, criticize government about its ineptness, quote unquote, in dealing with matters of illegal immigrants. But don't call for violence in our country. We know what violence can do. These people who call for violence, look at what they did in June and July unrest, looting here in Joburg and KZN. And now they think, no, this thing is doable. You can go to TV and say that on such and such a date, if you don't move mountains, you will see what will happen. You are inciting violence. Innocent people are going to be, you know how many people we lost in the July unrest? More than 400 South Africans died in that thing. We will never support anarchy-driven activities. We're detailing in our statement, as a matter of principle, what we're supporting. We're not condemning. That is the reality that has faced us. So the role of government and the state is to tighten the laws to protect its citizenry without degenerating to a point where there are protests that are exploited by people with nefarious intentions. We're not focused on March and March. We are just putting policy before South Africans to say the state, the democratic state, must intervene and at the same time in terms of laws, but at the same time in terms of protecting the citizenry. If that does not happen, anyone can call himself a leader and emerge on a popular front and be funded by people with dubious interest to our country, to hurt our country's image. It's not good for South Africa to be projected in the international landscape as a xenophobic people. You will know, most of you who travel abroad, people love this country. Yes, we've got problems, but we don't want to compare with others. The question of illegal immigration is global. Donald Trump has gone to the House, and they gave him billions of rands to execute what is called ICE. People have been chased up and down, arrested in America, and all of that, and been victimized, and so on. We don't want to degenerate to that level. We want money and laws that protect us. And we illustrate in our statement what are those laws that we need to implement. We are not concerned about March and March. They are raising an important issue that is in the public domain that is well known to all of us. I was a minister of police. If I were to take a practical an example, we were working here around the city center. Herman Mashaba was a mayor for a few days before the DA ejected him. We went here, buildings are full of people who are undocumented here. So if you were to walk in the streets here and somebody pickpocket you, and we chase that person and get into that building, we will never know who did this crime. They are undocumented, unregistered, and it's a national security threat. So government must not allow this anarchy in our country to engulf us as though we don't have a state. We must put down the state, not boots and all of that, but through the laws, and they must be enforced. Now, All the other issues, we will be able to deal with them, because we cannot afford our country to be characterized as a country that hates Africans, and that is xenophobic. Just by looking at some Kelo in his color and being very black, then we decide that no, Lomfo, I uvelaphi. You know, there is a stage in this country where police were going in the streets and look at people. Do you remember that? When there was what is that place of Home Affairs? Lindela, where people were taken in Lindela by buses, and then they look at your face. If you can't speak properly, you speak Venda or you speak Tsonga, they take you to Lindela. Hey man, I'm from Venda, and so on and all of that. And just the tribalistic thing, and hurting ourselves in the process. People are protesting. Uvumuntu atukule protest. Aswafuna mashangani. Changans are part of us. These are our people. What have Shangans done to us? In these protests, you hear people say, hey, Aswafuna mashangani. Now you want us to keep quiet in the name that we are protesting. No, that can't be right. We can't allow infested tribalism that undermines our unity to basically escalate in our country like that. Yes, people have got the right to protest. Government, in terms of its responsibility, must cushion its citizens and all of that. I see the president of Rwanda the other day said that, I don't understand, he mentioned countries, what do they want here, because there's no war there. In Rwanda, said by the head of state. And then I've seen Ghana, I've been to Ghana. I've seen small businesses being closed down, particularly from Nigerians, because they are just from next door, you know. And then they close them down, and they say that, no, small businesses here in Ghana are for Ghanaians, and so on. So we must never allow ourselves to be characterized as xenophobic by failure to enforce our laws. And be clear, we have a problem in South Africa of illegal, undocumented people who come to our country. And that is a big risk of national security. But at the same time, there is a danger that this situation can degenerate and become a state of lawlessness, and people just get funded. You can see some of them, they are well funded, these NGOs and so on, and the people that lead them. But the minute you touch on them, you touch the raw nerve, because people are afraid to tell the principle and the truth because of elections. South Africans are not xenophobic. They don't hate other Africans. The issue that we challenge and agree with, we've got the problem of undocumented people here, and they are not just African. Even though they are in majority in African, there's even white undocumented people here. They are sophisticated because of the color of their skin. So some of them own shops, Hyde Park and everywhere else, but they don't have documentation and so on. So we need to deal with that. And government need to lead that issue with confidence. On Sunday Times, on the issue of candidates who are not ANC candidates, I've answered that question, that we can have people here, but they must accept the membership of the ANC. And at the same time, we're broadening the net. We're looking at people who are skillful, at the same time, who've got the capacity